me now, I have the owner of this 1957 Ford Skyliner, and this has to be one of the most interesting cars to come out of the 1950s. Ford offered convertibles just like everybody else, but then somebody came up with a new twist on them. And can you give me the background on why they came up with the retractable hardtop?
William Ford and Lee Iacocca wanted to see a retractable hardtop on the Lincoln, and that after they did all the homework and they built the prototype, they realized that it was not going to pay off because they didn't build enough Lincolns, and it wasn't going to be competitive with the Cadillac. So the engineer convinced William Ford that they should put it on the Fairlane because they were building 600,000 Fairlanes a year. So in 57, they built, I believe they built about 23,000 of these in 57, and then in 58 they built them again, and they built a few less in 59. The car was kind of problematic. It's very, it's actually mechanically incredible, but Ford dealers, for the most part, didn't have skilled people to adjust these tops and to make them work correctly, and people didn't understand that these actually needed maintenance, otherwise they didn't work.
Well, they are rather complicated, and we'll look over to the mechanism. Yes. Let's walk over to the mechanism here. And you have a couple of hydraulic rams.
No, those are actually screws.
Those are screws. Yep. So, they look like rams.
Yep. No, they're screws. There's nothing hydraulic on this top. It's all electric motors.
So how many total?
12, I believe.
12 electric motors to get this top up and down again.
About 20 limit switches and a dozen solenoids that are on this back side of that bar right there behind the back.
And no solid state electronics back then.
Solid state, nothing. No, this is mechanical.
Very cool. What about today? Is it hard to maintain?
No, because I'm very careful and I understand how everything works. So there's a few things you don't do with this car. You know, you never put the top down when you're on a hill. You always make sure your windows are down and you make sure your doors are closed because the frame is flexible. So if you do all those things, the thing works like a dream.
Very
beautifully. 1 minute down, 1 minute up.
Can we get can you show us? Is it hard? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Sure. I can probably.
Here we go. I think this is special, Matt. This is a treat. Here we go.
Play by play. Notice that the front half of the top has to fold inward in order to fit into the spot reserved for it. Reverse hinged trunk lid or deck lid. It isn't really the trunk lid because you can't open it the other way. And there you go. So if you've ever had a scissors jack and that screw gear, all of those are acting on that mechanism. And notice, see how they unscrew. You have these screw down into these slots here to hold down the deck lid. And now the screws are turning and pulling up the top. And these screws down here will screw down into these holes here to hold the top down permanently. And it did then, I'm sure, because nothing else like it. Now, especially with improvements in the mechanisms, the sensors, the switches, solid-state electronics, now everybody's got one of these.
Right. Yeah, most manufacturers have them now, and they're certainly more reliable than this was, but nowhere near as interesting.
No, because it's still got the style of the 57 Ford, and it looks like a regular two-door coupe. I mean, obviously, an expert can tell, one, it's a Skyliner on it, two, it's got a longer deck lid
Correct.
than the standard coupe, but still something very, very special. And how much extra did it cost over a standard coupe?
I don't know exactly. I want to say it was about $500 more to get the option. But in 57, that probably was a lot of money.
Yeah, especially for a mainstream car like a Ford.
Absolutely.
Why the main? So it's basically the volume, but still, these are rare now. But you said they made over 20,000 the first year, probably close to about 40, 50,000 overall.
Yep.
That's not that rare.
Well, the problem is that they didn't last. You know, people got rid of them because they were a mechanical nightmare if they weren't maintained properly, and there weren't enough dealers out there to maintain them properly. So a lot of them went to the crusher. And this car was a basket case when I got it. It was completely rotted out. This car's rotted out pretty regularly. So, and there's no parts left for them. So
So you got to maintain what you have.
you got to maintain it. You got to maintain it. And again, there aren't a lot of them left.
Thank you very much for your time.
Great.
But that was a great demonstration. And yes, folks, the retractable hardtop convertible BMW, Mazda Miata, Mercedes SL, whatever you have, it all started with that one way back in the late 1950s.